my friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new around here, I hope you will consider joining the family by hitting that subscribe button. We post projects every Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes it's cards, sometimes it's mini albums, sometimes it's hauls because it is fun to get new things. For today's video, we're taking a small break from the holiday themed projects because I have a need to create something that's very functional and practical, and I have a need for it right now. I think maybe you will as well, and this would also make a really great stocking stuffer or small gift. So maybe this is something you still have time to take care of if you want to include it for your holiday projects. So this is a folio. As I mentioned, it has two pockets. One holds a refillable grocery list and the other holds my coupons. So I also put pen loop in, have everything I need. Right now, we all want to get into the shops, get what we need, and get back out as quickly as possible with touching the fewest things as we possibly can. So this helps me to stay organized when we're in the store and hopefully not forget anything. So I have what I need to get through our week for meal plans. So stick with me, we'll make this together. Okay, so here is my current setup. I will tell you what works and then what doesn't work. I love having a hardcover notebook to write down my grocery list, and that is because I do not wish to set my list down on anything to be able to cross things off. Otherwise the paper is too flimsy and your pen doesn't write well. So I love that this has lines. I love that it has a hardcover. The spiral is okay, except that I am almost running out. There's just a few sheets left in here. So I can either choose to replace it and have the same problem, or I can customize one that will work better for my needs. So another thing that I wish it did was have a place to hold the coupons. I don't get a lot of coupons. We just mostly go to Kroger. I don't have the bin with all the dividers and all the things. I just get the ones they send me in the mail and then I take them in and use them. But there's nowhere really to clip that on here. So I have to tuck them into the pocket of my purse or stick them in here and hope they don't fall out. So currently, this is just about the right width. And I think that's pretty good for like one line, two if you have little writing. My handwriting looks like a 5-year-old, so I just put one thing on each line. And it makes it nice too if you have to go to multiple stores. You can write on different pages and keep them organized. But the problem is that it is just almost a little bit too long. And so it does fit. Here's my purse for winter. Got this at Kohl's. It is plaid. Of course, that doesn't surprise anyone, I'm sure. And it does fit, like I said, but not really, but it does, but not really. It kind of mostly fits. It's too long, I think, and if I made it a little bit shorter, that would work better. Another thing that I like about it with the spiral is that I can stick my pen in here and I don't have to try and keep track of it while I'm shopping. So this is another issue that I have to bring to the next project, but find a more unique way to do it because I'm not going to use a spiral. So I'm going to show you here really quickly my plan, and it involves the cardboard that I got from my last order from scrapbook.com. They always include a nice thick chunky piece if you buy separate sheets. And then they bond it together so that it will stay sturdy and the corners won't get damaged. But anyway, this is a great resource to use. Just like use it as recycling. And then I'm going to make the actual cover itself with just a solid cardstock that has a solid core. That way, if anything damages the corners or anything, it's not going to show through. And then I can cover the outside with a collection paper that makes it a little bit more personal. So as you do when you're making a hardcover book, you need 3 pieces, 1 spine, and then 2 portions that'll be the front and back cover. I did add a small hole that I'm going to add some twine through so I can close it up while it's in my bag. And then what I want to do is pull off all of my tape and line this up, leaving just a little bit of space here. So let's get started on that. I'm using a very neutral gray and it's going to coordinate later with my pattern paper collection. So what I want to do is just take all this tape off. And yep, I did consider picking up a new notebook from the dollar store. We did go last week and it was crazy town, which you can imagine. I'm not surprised, nor am I complaining. It's just how it is right before a holiday. It was really busy, and there was a very sweet older gentleman. He was working on the counter. Here's my T-square ruler, by the way. I think that will help me keep everything lined up better. This one isn't as important on the cover because you're going to wrap it around, but it helps to keep these middle portions straight so that everything will stay lined up. So I'll just go ahead and put that here so I can keep everything lined up. Anyway, his name was Thomas, and I know this because he had a little name badge on, and it looked like it was written in Sharpie marker. So I know that he was most likely going to be like a maybe holiday temp. And he was very sweet and very nice. And he was talking to everyone. He had a lot of stories to share. And so although it was nice and personal, it really did slow down the checkout process. So the line was quite terrible. So I didn't really take the time to look at all for any kind of other solution. I just decided to make my own. Also, I had Tech Hubby with me. He is a pretty good sport about shopping in places like that. He does not wish to be there, but he's a good sport, and so he kind of wanders off and looks at his own stuff while I'm trying to locate the things that I need. But I don't want to have to take him there because he's very nice about not making me go to places like AutoZone. Just a mutual consideration thing. So I didn't want to stay in there too long. I just kind of got what we needed and got out. So as you can see, I'm putting down my pieces with that little gap so that I can bend the spine. This piece on either side is 4 by 6.5 inches, and I measured the zipper for my bag and that fit very well. And then I did measure also the width of my original notebook, and I really like that as well. So I just kept that measurement for this one. So now what I want to do is pull in my scoring tool and just kind of run this along. If you've ever made any kind of hardcover, like a mini album, this is pretty familiar to you. This is the exact same process. I'm just going to make it for my own purpose. Instead of adding pages, I'm going to add pockets. So what this does essentially is just gives it a nice crisp, clean fold when you bend it over. And I'm just going to pre-bend these before I add any adhesives, just to get that nice crisp line. Go all the way around here, and then you can notch out the corners. They had some very cute things at the dollar store. By the way, I found a buffalo plaid coffee cup, thermos cup to take, and those are hard to come by in our house because our college student will take them and leave them in his car, so I don't always have one when I need it. So I picked that one up, and I thought that probably he might not take off with that one, and I'll have it when I need it. So here is that fold over, and you can see that it's created the little square. That's what you want to notch out with your scissors. And I'm just going to come in here at a diagonal and leave a very small amount where it crosses over. And I'll do that for all 4 sides. Our college student is taking courses at home now, so he's not taking off with my cups as much as he used to. That one, and then one more. The longer sides first, and get those attached. I'm just using double-sided adhesive tape. If you prefer wet adhesive, that's a really good choice as well, because you want it to be very sturdy. I just don't have the patience for it because I got other stuff to do. Not really. Probably watch YouTube videos. So here's this tape. Another thing that I want to do before I add any additional layers is take my awl. I don't know how to say that correctly. Awl. Words are hard. And poke through this hole that I created earlier. I triangulated the center using sheer luck mostly and a ruler, but I'm going to poke through here because this is where I want to add my elastic so that I can tie it up. And I'm just going to poke that through here so that I can run my elastic through. And keep track of where that hole is because you'll need to punch it as you go along so you don't lose it. So here is the long sides. Once you have that stuck down, you want to come in with your scoring tool and kind of burnish that paper into the tape and get a really good contact. And then you also want to run your edge into the crease that you left for the book to close. And that helps to squish a little bit of that bulkiness out. Do that for all 4 pieces and then bend it up. You can see how that worked out much better by having that pre-creased. And then come back in on your sides here and finish out the inside cover. So I think another way I could have solved this problem is to get a bigger purse. But honestly, I am very bad about hauling around junk that I don't need. If I have a bigger purse, I just put more in it and carry it around. So really what I just want to do, just want to crease in a little bit on that. I don't know how much you can see, that's too far away from the screen, so that I get a good corner. Really what I need to keep in my purse is a really good chapstick because it's Michigan and we have cold, dry air and everything dries out the second you walk outside. And then you need like 6 backups in case you run out of the first one or the first 5. Then of course you need a good hand sanitizer and a backup of that. And then you need a mask. And then you need your wallet and your phone. And then you need the Tech Hubby's glasses because that is the stage of life we are at right now, is I just carry his stuff too. So here is all of these creases down, and you can see when I bend it, what I've got is a 3/4 of an inch spine. That's important later, and then 2 pieces that are 4 by 6.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and put on my outside pattern paper. I picked plaid again. I think that sort of matches a little. It doesn't not match. It's not perfect, but I think it works pretty well. So I'm gonna use a solid colored cardstock border throughout, just for a little bit of extra thickness, and then also just to give it a nicer finished look. Of course, you can't put as many or any really embellishments on because you don't want it to get caught on things in your bag. So let's just give it the old even border as I do. And then one for this side as well. Here is the back. Okay, I did find one journal card in my stash that I thought looked pretty, and I'm just going to adhere it flat. There's no doilies or any dimensional flowery bits, but I thought that it just dressed it up a little, and I picked this particular card because it had a little bit of an all-over pattern. So if it gets something on it in my bag, it won't show quite as much. And the bird and the flower was pretty and the colors match. So this is what I picked for this. You don't need to add anything at all, but I just thought it would dress it up a little bit. This is going to be, at this point, doesn't matter, but you see how I have more of the plaid showing over here. So let's do this side. Pretty easy to do when you're working with a plaid. Getting things lined up. Okay, I've got to put on a spine, and I decided not to cover the spine with pattern paper. I'm just going with the cardstock because I didn't want any really super small pieces on the outside that might become caught on something and come up while I'm taking it in and out of my bag. So just cardstock on the spine. This is a pretty charcoal gray, and it has a little bit of a linen texture, which is kind of nice because it will be less likely to show fingerprints. And then I need to come back in with my awl and poke that hole through again, just so that I don't lose where that hole is, so I can put my twine through it. So I found this at the Dollar General, not the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General. It has various kind of stretchy cords, thin, thicker, clear, white, and this one is definitely more fabric, so I think that will hold up better over time. And maybe what I'll do is I will just kind of measure out what I think I need. Want it to be too tight. And then tie a knot here. Of course, I was a Boy Scout mom, and you'd think I would be better at tying knots, but I'm really not. So I'm going to do the best I can with what I have. That really tightly pulled end. So what I want to do maybe is come in here and clip off the excess and then see how that might pull through. So maybe I put like another row of that just for good measure. Maybe what I do is adhere it before I put the cover on the inside. That way I know it won't go through. Hopefully I'll be able to thread this. That hole is not very big. Oh, that worked pretty well. Okay, so there is enough to go around, and that will hold it in place. And then maybe what I do is just gonna tack this down, a little of this, that way I won't have to worry about it pulling through. And then I'll catch that between the layers of paper as well. It's pretty thin, so even though it will not lay totally flat, the paper on top, it'll still be okay. So that's going to be the cover and the closure. Let's go ahead and work on the inside. So like I mentioned, I've got 6.5 inches in height and 3/4 inch in my spine and 4 inches wide. I cut a second piece of my paper here so that it would fit with just about a 1/16 of an inch border. And what I'm going to do is add a line of tape here, not going all the way to the edge because I don't want it to show when I put the paper on. Put some double-sided adhesive on this page as well. I'm just going to pull those up, and then I'll come back in here with my border and get it lined up. Maybe I'll line it up across the bottom. That way I'll know it's on straight. And like I said, I know there's going to be a little bit of a lump there, but it isn't significant and it is not bothering me at all. Run your score tool across all of those seams. So we went through the groove between the chipboards so that we can get it folded up evenly. And now we have the inside covered. And I've got 2 pages here prepared to be pockets. So I will add my pockets on to my pattern paper. And I'm wrapping the back so that I have a little bit of extra room in that pocket. And it will be very secure. And then I will adhere this to my book. This is going right up to the edge of my second piece of paper that I added to cover the inside. And here is a second pattern of paper just so that it looks a little bit nicer and it shows where the pocket is. And here's a pocket page for the other side as well. Here are my coupons, and I can tuck them in to this side and they will be very nicely secure while I'm shopping. And then for my tablet, this, I mean, it's pretty simple. I just cut a smaller piece of the chipboard that will fit in this pocket, and then I can slide that in And when I need to refill it, I can just add more paper to this. I just stapled this on and then I can rip them off as I use them. This one will fit into this pocket. So now I have my paper all set to write my list on. Last but not least is I've got a little bit of elastic here, and I'm going to tack this in with some hot glue, and this is going to be a loop to hold my pen. So I can just slide my pen into that loop, and that is why I chose 3/4 of an inch for my spine, so that I would have room for my pen as well as that paper. And close it all up and tuck it into my purse, and then I'm all ready to go to the shops. So that is all for my coupon and grocery list folio to tuck into my purse to take with me to the shops. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave me a comment and a thumbs up, and if you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. Remember, there's links in the description below for all our social media sites, and as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye!